to, I think everyone should do this, but you seem to make a point of saying that you're not perfect, you've not always lived up to the standards you set in terms of godliness or all this stuff. Are you?
Well, don't add on to my words, but I know what you're saying. Okay. I remember what I said. Yeah.
Okay. Are you doing that specifically to try to head off this whole "where were you 26 years ago on this day"? What you did say?
Response to a question, as I recall. The lady asked me a question, and I tried to answer it honestly and forthrightly. I don't know that I've ever mentioned that before on the campaign trail.
Senator Jim Davenport with the Associated Press. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Al-Qaeda is supposed to, Osama bin Laden, Al-Qaeda are releasing another videotape today. You'd spoken about the one on Friday that was released in terms of symbolism. What do you think about this? It's another shot from Al-Qaeda, or is it a shot?
I don't think that we ought to fixate on it. I don't think we ought to play into his hands. And the whole nation stops to see what he's saying from some cave in Pakistan or wherever he is. Now, he needs to be located and killed. But we also need to understand that there will be people to replace him. That top dog in Iraq that we killed a while back, that was a big deal too. How much changed after that? I mean, things are looking better now, but it's taken a good while to get there. The thing that concerns me most is the Al-Qaeda operatives that they have placed other places, including the United States, and the danger that they pose, immediate danger they pose. Bin Laden, he could be doing what he's doing because he doesn't think things are going as well as he would like, that he needs to recruit new people. It could be a good signal that he's sending. I'm not sure he'd be doing that if everything was going to please him. So we shouldn't play into his hands like thinking that he's the whole ball game, because he's far from it.
Not to read too much into syntax, but last week in that news release sent out about his announcement, there was a line, a quote from you that said, Bin Laden should be, quote, caught and killed. Do you think that should be the policy, that we catch someone and then kill them?
Or
should we kill them or catch them?
No. We got due process to go through, and depending on the circumstances, the due process needs to fit the circumstances they find themselves in. But I'm not suggesting those things happen simultaneously unless he resists.
And you had an old tie to another lawyer. You helped out a lawyer in defending one of these guys who's involved in some Libyan stuff years ago. Can you talk to me a little bit about what that role was? And
as I recall, one of the senior partners of the law firm asked me a question about, I believe it was about venue where a trial like that would take place, or some technically related question. And since I have a background in those areas, so they sometimes came to me with questions like that, and I talked to them. I recall we had a couple of conversations about that.
It was just a consultative kind of thing with one of your partners.
Yeah. I wasn't even a partner, but I was of counsel to the firm. So they came to me from certain things. I had my own practice, but they came to me with certain things in my areas of expertise, and sometimes I would refer clients to them. But that was about it.
On Social Security reform, you brought it up, and it's something that I think Bush took a legitimate swing at, really was serious about it, and failed to bring people to the table. And I don't know how close your policy beliefs on it would be to his. Probably not that far off. How do you get past the logjam that absolutely stopped him in his tracks?
I think, as I indicated in there a while ago, it's got to start with the American people. Politicians are not going to take these things on until they absolutely have to. The majority of them won't. I don't mean to lump them all together, but the majority right now won't until they learn from the American people that it's in their own self-interest to do so. And that's why we have elections. I think we don't give people enough credit. We understand that, what can't go on forever won't. And I think telling the truth about things like that is not as politically risky as apparently a lot of people think it is. The first thing we've got to do, the first major thing we've got to do is agree that this is something that needs to be addressed, that we're going to have to sit down on a bipartisan basis and address it. If we can get over that hurdle and that fear, then all things are possible.
Do you have a favorite brand of Social Security reform?
There's some directions that certainly that we can go in. There are plenty of proposals on the table. Everybody knows basically what they are. The question is what mix that you would come out with. I don't believe in going into something saying that you can't talk about whatever you want to talk about, and let's put our ideas on the table. I would say that in the process we would need to keep in mind that a strong economy producing jobs and producing revenue is an integral part of that, and lower tax rates are a part of that. So I don't think taxation is the solution to these problems, but that's my that's one of the underlying ideas that I have about discussions like that. But there's any number of things that we could deal with. But if people will agree with me that it's got to be addressed, then we're at the point where we can get down to some details and get down into the weeds on it. We've got to get to the mountain before we get to the weeds.
I think about, do you have former smoker, Senate comments?
Former smoker?
Reform smoker?
Reform smoker? Well, that's two different questions.
Are you a current smoker?
I've never
A conservative ex-smoker.
I've never smoked cigarettes.
Yeah.
Oh, I've had, a couple here and there over many, many years, but I probably never smoked a pack in my entire life. But I have smoked a pipe on occasion, and I have smoked a cigar on occasion. Every once in a while, I'll smoke a cigar. But I have learned that even when I'm on the back porch, the screened-in porch, that the smoke may be affecting the little girl. She may have a condition. She coughs sometimes, and we've taken her to the doctor about it, and I don't do that anymore. Now, if I'm out somewhere and outside somewhere and the opportunity presents itself, it's not very often, but I'll do it. Occasionally I like to chew on one, but sometimes one will lie around for days without me ever lighting it up.
What do you think of plans to tie a tobacco tax increase for cigarette, pipe tobacco, cigars to paying for health care?
People want to look at the tax increases first about everything, and then they look to tobacco, second on the list. I don't like tax increases in general. Give me the array of options and tell me what the possibilities are. It's just usually a cover for not wanting to do anything on the spending side. If people want to outlaw smoking, let them put that proposal on the table. Let's see how far it gets. But in the meantime, don't use taxes in order to carry out your other agendas, and concentrate on the spending side of the ledger instead of so many taxes.
You mentioned General Petraeus today. Tell me what you think the solution is in Iraq, and what you mentioned the Democrats also and pulling out. I mean, what is the solution in your view?
The solution is do whatever is necessary to stabilize that place so that free people can have a free chance. The tactics of that, I think we got the best man possible on the job. I think the strategy that we're carrying out now is a good one. We got more troops down there. They're more aggressive than they have been, and they're showing results. And we've got to avail ourselves of any and every opportunity for the success. The price for failure will be heavy in years to come. It will make the United States of America less safe than more.
What if the Powell Doctrine is correct? What if it takes 500,000 troops?
I'm not going to do any what ifs on that. I think that pretty much states the...
This is the same space that...
Didn't you say wrap up? Last one. Go ahead.
This is the same space that John McCain is occupying. He's got this no surrender tour this week. Is John McCain right on the surge? That was his point.
I'm reluctant to adopt anybody else's position wholesale, but I agree with the basic thrust of what John is saying. I will have to say that. I think that he's going forth and telling the truth about a lot of important things. Like I say, I don't know every detail of everything that he's ever said, but I know at the heart of his message is the truth.